Good day, everyone. It's this week's Not So Live show. It's me. It's Cheryl Snow. It's Ugly Dave Claxton. But we lost Dave halfway through. He had signal issues. Who knows what's going on there in the Great White North? Anyway, this is me saying thanks for watching. If you're new here, welcome. We do this a couple times a week. We have this show, which is a video on Mondays, and then it comes up in podcast form on Tuesdays. And then Thursday, I have a podcast that sometimes goes up on YouTube as well. But I appreciate all of you. And we love hearing from you, so drop comments with questions. And also, this is where I remind you, you can join that coffee club where you too can support this channel for as little as $5 a month. Love it. If you could do that, it would mean a lot. Enjoy the episode. Away we go. Can't believe it. It's Monday again. We're back with the Not So Live show. And boy, do we have a lot of topics this week. For good and for bad, I guess. Cheryl, any idea where we should start?
No idea. Do we do chronologically? Do we start with the most pressing issue that we woke up to? I don't know.
Brockton Hospital, April 5th, 1972. It was a beautiful spring day. And my dad brought me home, I think, in the back seat. I don't think there were seatbelts in front seats or back seats. Cheryl, did we have seatbelts in the early 70s?
Well, there were technically seatbelts. Nobody used them. Dave, you didn't use seatbelts, right?
I once rode on the back lid of the back seat, you know, where the speakers are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I once rode in a Cutlass Supreme from Ontario to Nova Scotia.
Can you tell my American audience what that's like? Because we don't have any fucking idea.
It's like at the time would have been like a 22-hour drive.
But
and where in the back? You in the back of the pickup?
No, well, actually, I did once do the back of the pickup the other way, but the one I'm talking about was when me, my brother, and my sister were in the back seat of the car, and to make more room, I just lied down on top of where the speakers go. When cars were quite large,
those Buicks were enormous.
Yeah, the thing in my mind that I remember is massive seats and changing the radio station like this with those big giant buttons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or honing it in with the dial just perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a big clunk sound that I fondly remember. And of course you got that with the 8-tracks as well, right?
Yeah.
People are like,
those were never good.
These people are fucking old. They're talking about 8-tracks.
That's why we're wise enough to talk about all these things that we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely.
I did ride in the back of a pickup truck all the way across Quebec.
Okay. Again, I don't know how big that is, though. You have to help my American and English audience.
8 to 10 hours.
Yeah. Canada's massive. Anytime he mentions a province, it's far bigger than what we're used to.
Yeah, like it takes longer to get across Ontario than it does for me to get to Florida.
Like Canada is like Australia, right? Yeah, just giant. Yeah.
Well, how about HYROX Cancun?
Looked hot.
Party or race? I think was kind of the topic Cheryl said, right?
Yeah, I think it was a race party, right? And I think I thought it was a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea anymore. I think it sounds magnificent, and I feel like I missed out on something. And look, especially if they're not going to be doing the time system anymore. Like, look, Camila Massa just celebrates her anniversary by going down, getting 105 points, running arguably 6-7 minutes slower than she normally would, just because it's awful down there. But everybody looked like they were having a blast.
All right, I have to do this because I'm so happy. And unfortunately, it's going to be extremely vague, but I think you guys will appreciate it. I met someone new to our sport who is extremely fit, who said, I don't see what the big deal is. I'm sure I could get one of those like bottom elite 15 times. To which me and a person with him said, I don't think so. To which he said, you don't understand my background. I've done this. And I said, I'm just telling you, it's really hard. And these guys have been doing it 4 years. And he said, as the conversation went on, it went from sub 60 to sub 65. Then if he really tried, he could hit bottom 15. Do you think he got 65 minutes?
Was this in Cancun?
Minutes?
This is in Cancun, yes.
No.
Do you think he got 70 minutes?
No.
Do you think he got 75 minutes?
Again, then we're going to that is possible, but we'd have your dependents, but probably not.
I think with the amount of hubris that you are conveying in this conversation, I would say possibly no.
1 hour, 25 minutes.
Well, that's my territory.
Which made me so happy because even if you give him beyond the benefit of a doubt of like 10 minutes of Cancun,
10-minute Cancun,
you're still hour and 15 and you're nowhere fucking close.
You're only 20 minutes off.
And please, please, please.
Plus 10.
Triathletes, marathoners, wherever the fuck you come from, bring it on with your fitness. All right. We'll fucking see. Now, I'm not saying who this is. I'm not even saying man or woman. I'm just saying this happened. And I was like, hate to be right, but I'm right. So there you go. I thought maybe it was a mistake. I thought I looked at the wrong person at first, but that's what happened. So anyway, sorry.
So you looked this person up.
Of course.
I love that we can do that. I love that we can do that.
Because I'm a good human. I didn't start with ha ha ha. I started with how are you feeling? Just this person gave a few excuses. And while we were having this conversation, this one particular time, I find it was a he. He said, I said, I don't want to hear any excuses, by the way. Like, no matter what, it was like, he didn't even mention Cancun, I don't think, at the time. I said, you can't say I didn't come in, like, just do the, and so when the excuses came, which I'm not even going to mention here, I'll tell you offline, they were pretty bad. When the excuses came, I said, remember you said you can't do that. To which he said, you know what, you're right. Have your fun. I blew it, or whatever. And so I said, smiley face, and we moved on. But yeah, guys, sorry. But it's like, I think I told you, I'm really getting off track here. I got another one of these stupid, I could do Murph in 22 minutes from somebody. It's like, hey, this friend of mine. I said, no, he can't. No. I said, if you want me to send me the video, you can. But there's a reason that like Hunter can do this and Alec Blennis and like 2 other people. Like, you have to be extremely fit. So stop it. Stop thinking you could be one of the best HYROXers in the world. If only you trained it.
Are we almost to that time of year of Murph denial?
Let's not talk about Murph this year at all. I needed to get that off my chest.
I love talking about Murph denial. It's one of my favorites.
I just listen. It was a nice little thing to be like, yeah, our sport's fucking hard. So, Cancun. I got some notes. Shall I read them to you? I got some notes.
Yes.
Hang on a second. They're in my Instagram. If we could afford an assistant, it would be amazing. Get all these notes in there. So you know Paul Kopp, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he said the following. He sent me a lot of fun videos. One lap was fantastic. Palm trees in the race course was a nice touch of ambience. Plenty of porta potties. It rained on Friday, made one end of the BBJs really slick. So many racers would jump and then slip backwards. Loud thunk when their heads hit the ground. They built platforms for all the workout stations. That made the surface nice and comfy for lunges and seemed to be nice for BBJ. They built this. By the way, I was going to have him on the show, but he's flying right now. They built the platform so the stations were not on the ground. That way rain wouldn't be a factor, and they were able to level the surfaces. First time I've seen the following at a HYROX: fireworks, drone show, and they gave out pharmaceuticals when you checked in as an athlete. Can you see this?
What is that? Lesotris?
I'm going to go with Lesotris.
Do we know what that is?
Can you look that up while I'm reading these notes?
Okay. I'm working on it.
Lesot. Okay. And holy cow, the Mexicans turn anything into a reason to party. And then more fun videos. Cancun, more safe and friendly than most any U.S. city. Because I know people have the whole like, ooh, should I go to Mexico thing. Also, no poop on the ground like in Dallas or Houston. No smell of vape, pot, or smoke at all. In Dallas, when you walk to the venue, you have to dodge poop piles on the sidewalk. No problems at all in Cancun.
I was unaware that Dallas had a shit problem. Is this real?
Listen, this is one man's opinion. What did we find out, Cheryl?
We found out that Lesotris is a dietary supplement containing curcumin, Marketed by somebody as a natural antioxidant, often sold in 60 capsule bottles. So it's just a supplement.
But antioxidant means what?
Vitamin C is an antioxidant. You know,
don't you have a degree in something, Cheryl?
Well, I know that.
Well, I know you have a degree in some kind of thing, but
Yeah,
science, they've added elements to the table, I think, since then.
I have a degree in marriage and family therapy, which does not help a lot with what antioxidants are. Antioxidants are fairly innocuous. Like there really are just something to help you, like they think it helps with the, anti-aging, and it helps you repair and all that sort of,
anti-aging. Sign me up. I want to anti-age.
Right.
I'll take pills that don't do anything for 2,000, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, oh, look. Right. Often listed in Mexican pharmacies as, and I don't know what the exchange rate is, but this is 1,012 Mexican. So
pesos.
Maybe.
Hey,
yeah,
Siri,
maybe
how much is 1,000 pesos?
It's $56.60.
Oh, all right.
Sounds like expensive do nothing pills.
So let me tell you, if I'm traveling for a race, the first thing I'm going to do is take something in a bottle that I don't recognize in a different language.
Here, take this. It'll be fine.
But I do like that. I like the different countries you go to. You have some very different experiences. And they said there was a race that started at 10:30 at night. I guess it was men's open.
Oh, jeez.
Or maybe it was men's pro. I should look it
men's
up.
Pros usually the last ones.
10:30 p.m. and he finished at 1:30 because he's one of those guys that probably would. And that's more than Davis 2020 Chicago time. I think I was 2:30 that time. So anyway, God bless the volunteers and coaches and whoever stuck. What do you call them? Judges that stayed up to help this guy finish.
The one thing I thought was that one of the things that I really hated about running Spartans was my obsession with the weather, like just watching the 7-day forecast. Then it gets to 3 days, then it gets to 2 days, and you're just watching to see what you're in for. And that's what I like about HYROX is you don't kind of have to worry about that. And then you go to Cancun and, it is what it is. So it looked like everybody had a really good time though. And I wouldn't mind that one lap.
Oh, it was a one lapper even.
Yeah, I think it was a one.
Then my friend's excuses are even worse. Because that's 2 minutes easy, right? That's 2 to 3 minutes right there, right?
I suppose, yeah.
Dave, those one lap courses in Berlin.
One lap courses are definitely faster, but I mean, I don't know what the terrain was like for this one. Like, where were they running?
The terrain, like, did they have like a mud mile? What do you mean?
No. But like, I mean,
I read the thing. You heard me, damn it.
I know, but I mean, like, it could depend. Elevation, hills, little things like that could be different. But generally, yes, a one lapper would be of benefit.
So So anything else on the? Is it a race? Is it a vacation?
I just think it's a racecation, and I think that HYROX is brilliant, kind of coming up with these destinations for people to do. I think it's gonna become a thing, and I think people are really gonna like it. Better than a cruise.
Well, Dave. Yeah. Well, Dave did famously say they like pretty pictures. And that's what's important.
Yeah. And I'm less opposed to these venues now with the new system coming into play.
Right.
Like an airport hangar, an airport hangar that might get rained on, or New York, which might be outdoor.
Yeah, because it's all even now.
Yeah.
We should talk about the fall cities before we get into other stuff, because that kind of folds into it, right?
Sure. But I want to show, since he did send all these pictures, I should bother to show at least a couple of them, right? For the viewer.
Yeah, I heard he was going there, and I was like, really? And now I'm like, oh, yeah. It does seem fun.
All right, well, this just looks like a bar, but...
Yeah, isn't Cancun basically a bar? But look at that big LED. That's really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Makes you feel important.
Okay, what else from here did I want to get? So the best fucking news we ever could have got. Bunch of cities announced at once, including new cities: Nashville, Tampa, Salt Lake City, Denver. And I feel like, hey, that's cool. You got 2 East Coast new and you got 2 Mountain Westish, right? Would have loved a NorCal. Would have loved a San Francisco. Still don't know what the fuck's happening with that. It's like
spring. I think it's going to be spring.
I hope so.
I think if they've announced 2 cities in the fall for the West Coast, they'll announce 2. I think it'll be Seattle and San Francisco. That's my.
Well, the rumors I heard was maybe another Atlanta, maybe another Seattle. Sorry, maybe another Atlanta and possibly Seattle. I didn't hear NorCal. Doesn't mean it's not, but it means that if you look at the calendar between September and December, you can race almost every week.
Yes.
Somewhere in America, which is a massive difference than before. Massive.
Yes.
That's all you have to say, Dave, about that?
For me, new venues that I really like, Nashville and Tampa. Just from pure things, I think Nashville's a really cool city. And Tampa is like 40 minutes from my in-laws. So one day that might be useful for me.
Okay.
Tampa Airport's a really good airport.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Very
so I think it's going to be a great destination.
I don't remember Tampa's airport.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it great. If it's not memorable, it's probably great.
It's just really efficient. It's a good airport. Like in airports, I know about airports because of people that I hang out with, and they say that Tampa's one of the better ones in the country. So that'll be good. Salt Lake City has a new airport. The nice thing about Salt Lake City too is that it's really rapid, easy rail service from the airport to downtown where the Salt Palace Convention Center is. It's going to be really, really easy to get to. And that downtown, super walkable, really excellent food. There is a bakery there that if I only had to eat one thing the rest of my life, I would go there. Like, it is spectacular food right downtown.
You're going to deal with elevation with Salt Lake and with Denver though, right?
Denver's like what? Mile high. Salt Lake City is like 4,200 feet. And so there will be a bit of an elevation issue there. But I will say I ran one of my best races ever in my life in Salt Lake City. It can be done. You can feel good. I think it's going to be a good venue.
So this came up on the comments. Why would I bother? And to me, if it's about having fun and or qualifying, it doesn't matter where you are, right? Like, it used to matter, but now it doesn't. So somebody wrote, I think I thought about saying, so if you can't PR, don't bother. I think either I said that or somebody said that. And this guy was like, yeah, if I'm spending all this money, why would I bother? And it's like, I guess you can live that way. I guess.
Well, they're not going to Cancun either then, are they?
Well, but again, it used to really matter, right?
Right.
And by the way, not for age group anyway. It only mattered for the fucking elites. So if you're not elite, and the time didn't matter anyway. So it seems to be a weird hill to die on of, I don't want to, and it's like, you're not going to, they make it seem like they're going to notice. Like, they're going to make it seem like they're in the race and like gasping for air, which I don't think happens unless you're actually going up elevation. That's what makes you, right? Like, I've raced in those cities and that's not what happens.
Yeah, I think the air might feel a little thin, but I think
but you're not gasping. Like, I did Tough Mudder in Colorado and everyone was freaking out like, oh my God. And I was like, I did not notice. Like, were my legs probably burning lactate less or whatever? I'm sure they were, but who gives a fuck is what I'm saying. Am I an idiot, Dave, that people are putting way too much thought into this?
I don't mean to be offensive. You're not an idiot, but you're slow. And I think that the higher level, the faster you run, the more you're putting out, the more that the thin air is going to affect you. But like we've been saying,
indoors,
yeah, it's still it's the same air, right? Like but
you're not climbing.
Dealing with the same thing.
But you're right. We're all dealing with the same shit, and you're not climbing. I just don't think it's going to be like in the fucking sidelines of the NFL where they're sitting on the things with oxygen. I don't see that happening.
Well, I mean, if you look at times from Mexico City, from Denver for any type of races, whether it be DECA or HYROX or in 5Ks, anything, they're slow.
Right. But it doesn't make your race experience worse unless your only measurement of success is, did I PR?
But yes. I think that's what you're running up against with HYROX athletes, is for a lot of them, their definition of success is PRs, that they've been kind of climbing. They're sort of early in their careers at this HYROX business. and they think they're just going to get better and better and better. And there's a point where you start not getting better and better, and you start going because you just want to have a good time and challenge yourself and try some things. And this fella is early in his HYROX development, probably, and he'll get to where he just wants to go for fun.
Well, I mentioned to you guys, this to me is the most important piece of this whole thing. Is I call this as like, this is when America discovered HYROX, and all of our talk of peak and where we're at, and getting this particular post up fast and getting the engagement that it got showed me an awful lot. So first of all, once it leaves 25K, it's far outside my followers, right? It's clearly gone into the stratosphere, and then it's like the viral loop of the algorithm. It's being shown to more people, and so they show it to more people, and sometimes you get a second hit of that later, and whatever. Like I'll see, Rich Ryan's time with Paleo gets new likes, even though it was months ago, because it gets served somewhere. So this thing, as of right now, is 714K, which is pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But the bigger number to me that matters, the one that I shared with you guys, is there's likes, comments, reposts, and then shares. And the share button, the little airplane, is 34,200. That's people literally going, press to my friend or to my feed. And I saw an awful lot of who wants to do this with me? Can't wait to try this. Like, that's the data that I got, that I'm like, oh, these are people that have no clue this existed. They kind of maybe heard it or read an article. They aren't in our echo chamber, and they learned about HYROX this week. This is marking a different level of where HYROX is in America.
Do you think that now we have enough cities where it really is going to be able to attract the people who haven't been willing to travel before this? It feels like everything's close enough now for most of the country at some point in the calendar that's what maybe somewhat of a tipping point.
Well, yeah, I think it's the fact that it's spread out ish, right? You didn't just get East Coast, right? But you got a lot of people sending to their friends saying, let's go. And they're not already HYROX racers, is the point. So whatever point we thought we were at, this is a line we will look back on, I think. Now, will the spring announcement be just as big? Will it not be as big? Will next year's announcement be smaller? Because remember, when I talked to Christian and Mo, they were like, we know cities are coming. We know there's some we're going to hit every year and some will shuffle. Like if we lost Atlanta this year because they're like, we're doing Nashville instead, but we got Atlanta next year, okay, right? But we might get both, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these other markets, these smaller markets, Salt Lake City, New Orleans has been thrown out there. Like, get one, lose one. But I was shocked. I was pleasantly surprised at how much engagement this thing got. So yeah, I think we're in a whole new world now.
Dave, are you disappointed there were only two Canadian? Were you surprised at that?
No, not surprised. Not surprised. I would like to see them add one in Eastern Canada and one in Calgary. To me, that would make sense, especially out in the Maritimes. The Maritimes gets like nothing. And it's such a beautiful spot. Like Halifax is a completely underrated city and one of the best cities in the world to go to. And they don't get a lot out there. And I bet you it would be a heck of an event.
But again, with Canada, we know there's only a couple more cities they can hit, right?
Well, I mean, like usually anything in Canada, you're like Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, sometimes very few things, but some of them in Regina and Saskatchewan.
Hey, I met somebody from Regina the other day.
Did you? Yeah. Then you're in
she was in the Elite 15.
Really? She was from Regina? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I worked out in Regina for a few months. Then yeah.
What are the 5 Spartan ones? What are the 5 Spartan ones that they would always go to every year?
We've got 2 in the Toronto area, so 2 in Southern Ontario, 1 in Eastern Ontario, so 3 in Ontario, 1 in Red Deer, which is in Manitoba. Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh my God, Alberta. Not Alberta. Yeah, in Alberta, between Edmonton and Calgary. Then 1 in Mont Tremblant in Quebec.
What about on the Western Canada one?
They did Kelowna a few times.
No, where was the famous Ultra Beast? Sun something?
Sun something? I don't remember that one.
Come on, Dave.
Matt, I would like to submit this episode as the most Canadian geography heavy episode we've ever had.
I think so.
It was the first Sun Peaks.
Sun Peaks, that's somewhere out in BC, I think.
How do you not know these things, Dave?
Because it's a fucking big country.
He knows a lot. He's done a really good job.
It's a big place, man.
I know, but I thought you knew all the Spartan stuff. When was your first Spartan?
2017.
Okay. All right.
And that would have been at in Ontario.
I know it was a big deal when you guys got an Ultra Beast. I remember it being a big deal.
Yeah.
In 2014. But Dave is not as excited as you and I are, Cheryl, clearly.
About what? What am I
about all
excited
these new cities?
Well, because there weren't any new cities for the Canadians. I guess that's my point. I mean, I think Toronto's longer. Maybe they've added some dates, but for the most part, you guys haven't really.
It's the same as this year.
But I looked at the list of just everything they had announced all over the world, and I feel like North America now has a very similar feel as the European region as far as the number. I mean, Europe still has a ton more, but we used to be paltry compared to them, and it feels like
if you were to go on the map though and like put a dot where every race is, and pure geographically the distance between the races compared from North America to Europe, it changes a lot.
They're driving.
It really changes the perspective.
Right. They're driving, they're not flying, and we're all flying.
They're driving and taking trains because they have a functioning solid
infrastructure.
I mean, we say stuff like that, like we can put Australia in the same situation as us, right? Oh, there's 4 races in Australia. Well, Australia's massive.
Way too big, right? And that was the thing. When I noticed the APAC region, it just feels like they're not getting near the like those folks are still having to, travel 9 hours just to get to a race. Like I feel like the North Americans have no right to complain about, especially the elites. Like they don't have a right to complain now about access to races. They're going to have plenty to get to, and I think that's a really good sign.
Well, I think that's the other piece of this, right? That for the pro side of the sport, these guys in the past were like, fuck, which one do I have to go to? And it's nice to travel and whatnot, and if you can afford it. But now it's like, oh, there's 11. I can pick 5, right?
Right.
And if they do a major, then maybe less, right? So
my money's on Dallas for the major, by the way.
All right. So I didn't realize this until I was
problem though. I wouldn't go there.
Big poop problem.
Yeah, right.
I didn't realize this until I was talking about it in my intro, is that we're back in DC for 5 days.
Yeah.
So it's 5 days. It's a city that's had championships before. So isn't that the major?
Oh, it could
be. Why do you need 5 and even the biggest cities get 4 days, like Anaheim and some other ones are 4 days?
So they're going to have Stockholm Worlds late June, and they're going to turn around and Labor Day, the very beginning of September, they're going to have their first major. That's just cruel.
That's a pretty quick turnaround.
That's really quick.
That's a good point. When was the first one this year? October?
Yeah.
Hamburg, October?
Right. Yep.
All right. Maybe it's a little too soon.
So I think, Dallas with all of their sanitation.
And they can sneak a day on us, by the way. They've done that before where we think it's this many. And then they go, oh, by the way, the Wednesday night is the Elite 15. So it's like, that's possible.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
So, yeah, I wonder why they think they're going to sell that many tickets. I mean, they sold so few tickets to this one. It was a smaller event, right? This America's Regional.
Regional.
But it seems big. It seems like you would do 5 days in other cities before you would do DC 5 days. Like Boston's only getting 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sorry. Boston gets 4. Anaheim gets 4. Nashville gets 4. Oh my God.
I think Nashville's going to be sneaky good.
I mean,
what if they did the major there?
I'd be down with that. I think that'd be cool. And
instead
like
of the Cardinals,
Nashville has like that whole CrossFit community to it to see them branch over.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm sure they were in calls with those guys. But so back to your thing about the airports. To me, now any small airport I'm just thrilled with. It used to be, in the Spartan days, you got to rent a car, and every single airport in the world is probably in the process of moving their rental car place. I've never had it not happen. We're like, okay, you got to take this extra bus to this extra tram to get the rental car. Now we go to HYROX's in cities, you take an Uber 20 minutes. And so to me, I don't even notice the airport till I'm flying back. And is it easy to get into? And I have Clear, which I recommend. And then it's always super fast.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's going to, I'm really looking forward to the fall season. So,
listen, Cheryl, we got to pick one we're racing.
Hey, ball's in your court, mister. I mean, I already had somebody reach out to me and I, I think all of us on occasion have somebody say, hey, you want to do doubles? And it would be so fun. Oh, bye, Dave. And so, and the problem is that she's East Coast and I'm West Coast. And my plan is to go to most of the West Coast races. And I've already sort of lined all that up. And so you're on the East Coast, dude. Like, that's going to be tough because we're going to have to figure this out.
East Coast, dude. Didn't I come to Vegas? Didn't I come to Phoenix? Have we raced in two West Coast cities?
You are much easier, thing. She wanted to do Nashville, but the problem is I'm doing Anaheim and then I'm doing Vancouver.
Right.
And so Nashville's like right in the middle and that's just completely impossible. Right. And so we have enough race venues now that it's going to be logistically a challenge for sure. Anyway,
right.
I think it's really exciting. I was really excited.
I'm certainly eyeballing Nashville and Tampa for sure.
Okay. See, so that we're going to have to talk because some things I'm going to be able to do and some things I'm not.
Listen, I'm never one to keep score, Cheryl, but since I have gone west twice, one might think it is your turn to come this way. That's all.
I absolutely agree with you. And
I won't make you race between races though. Like we'll do one outside of that.
That's why, Nashville's just, kind of out of the question, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk. We'll talk probably this week about this.
Power went off. Internet is down. Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. Maybe things come back.
Hopefully he'll come back.
Yes. Because we definitely need him to be here for some things. I don't know if we want to talk about other stuff until he gets here.
Well, I think we should start. I mean, we can talk about, let me pull up my list here. Oh my goodness. Hybrid Not So Live show. Well, how about the new blood, Cheryl? How about we talk about new females crushing it? How about that?
Yeah, tell me about that. What did you mean when you put that in the notes?
Oh, well, clearly you're not following Hybrid Fitness Media. So my latest post, I actually looked at all the races over the weekend, and our friend Alyssa got her 2-minute penalty, right? And without that, she would have been 1 minute and 41 seconds, right? Which is right around where she was before, which is what she wanted to get in the Elite 15. Annie Elmelson in Copenhagen, in just her second pro race ever, 1 hour, 7 seconds.
Jeez.
Which would give her a 2-race average of 1 hour flat 39 seconds. However, she didn't have her pro card yet. So now she needs another solid performance to get to the Elite 15. And then there was a third one. Hang on. Where did she go? Hang on. There's a third one I didn't write about who also improved. Let me pull up the Elite 15 names.
Well, while you're pulling that up, let me say I did notice a lot of new names this weekend, right? Just people who are showing up, and I don't know what their backgrounds are. I know Alyssa, she's a runner, and then has just fallen into, I think she's like steeplechase and stuff. And so, like she's sort of a Meg Jacoby background, but it's getting overwhelming. Like the sport has grown so much now that it overwhelms me to try to keep up with who's fast and who's good.
Well, I think it's really good news for the sport, though. Like anytime, no one wants, the top 2 or the top 3 to be a race and then the rest of it doesn't matter, right?
Agreed.
We want more competition. We want more races. We like new faces. It just brings the whole sport up. So again, people finding this sport and going, oh, I think I might take a crack at this, and then actually being good kind of right away, which used to never happen. It was like, they didn't. So they're either training better or learning about the race more so that in their first or second race, at least for these women, they can pop a really good time.
Yeah. It's really, really exciting and impressive. And I think given the new system, I do have to wonder if we're going to have a very, very different Elite 15 going forward next year, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm looking at the European Championships coming up this weekend, and sure, there's a lot of names that are very familiar, but then there are a lot that aren't, that I'm really kind of rooting for. Like they've just shown up so quickly. Like when Luke Greer showed up in Phoenix and was a presence, not just from the ski erg, but continued to show up throughout that race. I just really love to see that.
Yeah. Chloe Cook is the other one. Let me bring her up.
Where did she race?
Chloe Cook raced. No, different Chloe Cook. Hang on. That's the wrong Chloe Cook. Lots of Chloe Cooks in the UK. Is it no H? Come on. Is it with an E? Of course not. I can't find her. Hang on. Cook. Oh, here comes Dave.
Good.
Hello, Dave.
Hey, slightly less power.
Is this an iPhone 6 you're on? What's happening?
No. I'm on my computer. I just had a hotspot from my phone to my computer to have internet.
Gotcha. We were just talking about these new gals putting down fast times.
Excellent.
We have been, because it was something we could talk about that we don't necessarily need you to weigh in on.
Oh, okay.
Where did it go? Copenhagen. Was it Copenhagen she raced in? HYROX Pro Women. Yeah, so Annie Amelson, 1 hour 7 seconds. Jana Liebenstadt, who's been around for a while, 1 hour 38. And then this girl, Chloe, 1 hour 48. So she's in the Elite 15. She's racing this weekend. But again, no one's really heard of her. She's been racing. She's not brand new. She's been racing since 2024, but she's new into, her times have been coming down 112, 106 an hour.
Well, so she's kind of the standard trajectory, and that's incredibly impressive to be able to shave that much time off.
Yes. So what Cheryl famously said to me was those first 10 minutes come off a lot easier than those last 2 minutes. And this speaks to my friend that I met that was talking about how he could get to the Elite 15. It's like, yeah, you probably can take a bunch of time off your first couple of races.
Yes.
And then to get from 10% to 1%, really fucking hard, 1% to the 1% of the 1%, you're a professional athlete or you're not. So good for her. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all these new folks.
Is it possible when we like look at Jana's time there, like how does that compare to her normal times? And is it maybe possible this was a bit of a faster course?
Let's have a look. Well, as I said though, Emily and this woman both like had previous fast times. They both also had under 101 times. See what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So it was a matter of having your pro card or not. And one of them did and one of them didn't. One of them hadn't had it yet. One of them did have it. So Chloe definitely got hers because she's been around longer. But Emily did her first race, had no idea, then got it. And now she's trying to get her card.
Jeez.
By the way, I use the term pro card and what's the real name for it?
I thought that was a real name for it.
Oh, that's what I call it. What do you pay for?
Honestly, I think that's what HYROX calls it too.
They definitely don't call it that. What do you pay for? Oh my God, you guys are killing me.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I've been called pro card since day one, so
they definitely don't call it that.
Your license?
Athlete license. Jesus Christ.
There you go.
You guys are horrible. Yes, the athlete license. I use those terms interchangeably in case someone's wondering, because somebody asked me that once before or a couple times in the messages, like, what's a pro card? What's the difference? It's like, they're the same thing. So I think what Cheryl meant by what to talk about next, I think she wants to talk about more rule stuff. Do we want to talk about spinning?
Yeah, just because, I think that actually folds into both the things we've been talking about. This is probably the last time that an elite racer from the United States is going to have to go overseas to try to get a decent time, because that's what she did, right? Like she shows up in Vegas, Alyssa does. I watched her. I became a fan immediately. She's incredible to watch.
It actually gets worse because something was revealed to me today. She had said already that she didn't know about the cutoff rule, but specifically what we talked about today, we talked for a few minutes afterwards, was that her and her coach looked at the rule book, and the rule book says 365 days. So what do I think that means? Well, I got 365 days. If you don't know to look at the Elite 15 page, which then says cutoff date, those 2 or 3 weeks, right? Here's the exact date. You wouldn't know. So that's how she found out, was through Chris Rogloski or whoever. So that's the first bit. That once again, we've got information. Remember, there used to be nothing. Now at least there is an Elite 15 page, but as Ryan from the bike found out, right, there was nothings. So now they've got some of it, but not all of it, right? Like your rule book has to say what it actually is. Like imagine you're a real sport that you're trying to attract athletes to. You can't, oh yeah, by the way, we don't mean 365. We mean 365 minus 2 weeks, except for sometimes it's minus 3 weeks because these two are closer together, right? So anyway, please continue.
Yeah. So, and I do remember in Vegas, it was just offhand conversations she was having with the fellow athletes, with the fellow pros that were giving her the lowdown on what she needed to do. And everybody was looking at Houston, and Houston was maybe 24 hours too late. Like it was just not quite the cutoff. I know that Christian was in Las Vegas. Why was he in Las Vegas? I am wondering that. I don't know.
Christian likes to party.
He likes to party, and he wants to go to the majors. Why? Okay. What do you think that is?
Well, because Vegas wasn't a major, so it was just.
Vegas. Sorry, Vegas. Yeah. I was thinking Phoenix.
You were thinking Phoenix instead of Vegas, really?
I've never stopped. He likes to party. He likes America. I mean, that's kind of
anyway. So he was there. So they were actually talking to him about the fact that she cannot get another time, right? Like in the United States, and so she goes to Glasgow, planning on trying to run her best so that she can try to clock the right time. And lo and behold, I looked up. So here's my personal story is my daughter went to her first HYROX in Glasgow this weekend. I told her, she said, I don't understand the divisions. Tell me where to go, which one to go to. I said, you've got to go watch the pro women. Those are the ones to watch. And so, so she goes and she says, they were all really impressive, but there was this one woman that was just flying. And I knew exactly who she was talking about, right? Because Alyssa really does stand out in a crowd. She's really, really impressive to watch. And so I look up her time and I'm like, she got third. Like it was just, I thought, well, maybe it was jet lag. Maybe she's just, had a bad day or whatever. And then here comes your story, Matt, that she's been penalized.
2 minutes and 15 seconds worth.
2 minutes and 15 seconds, which is astronomical for these folks, right? I mean, she needs a sub 61 and it ends up being a 63. And so that boots her out of the Elite 15. And we talk about, damn it, Dave, where'd you go? When we talk about, how these rules have absolute repercussions for these athletes. She spent the money, she spent the time, she went over to Glasgow. She didn't know that you can't spit and probably didn't even know that she spit, right? I love the interview that you had with her. And I think rightly so was penalized for spitting, right? Like here she is in a massive venue and you can't spit at the wall balls. And so it is a problem that she will never do again, I'm sure. Like it's never going to be something that she's ever going to forget that she did that. The problem is when the rule is easily applied to her and not applied to other people who are looking to qualify or, be part of the Elite 15 as well. I think that was the beef that people really had.
Because we just came off this water situation with Cole.
Right.
Yeah, I cannot hear.
Dave can't hear. So you go, Matt, while Dave's getting ready to do. We definitely want to hear from Dave on this.
I just want one set of rules, and we got what we wanted, which is, hey, can we at least get some better judges on the first wave of the day, right? Because they deserve it. But did you hear what I said to her about the video, which I'm actually going to find now, about the context of looking for someone to cheat versus judging what they're actually doing.
Yes.
Someone having their hand ready to draw a flag.
Right.
When there's no penalty to be had. I'm going to play that video, actually. It's really
hunting
good.
for penalties.
Hunting for penalties versus just observing the fucking thing. So, again, you guys will know his name, and I feel really bad that I don't. But I'm just going to play it here, and I don't know if the listeners are going to be able to hear it. So let's see if I can find it. It was really good.
The HYROX America's Championship recently, and something was quite refreshing to see.
Can you hear this?
Not really.
And the judges or head judges in the white t-shirts. We've often been critical that they are very keen to issue yellow and red cards. 44 minutes in, Dylan Scott, sandbag lunges, not really getting anything wrong that I can see. The head judge on the left-hand side, card ready to brandish. But the referee comes over and suggests that maybe she take her hand off the card, put the card back, because he's doing the reps okay. And then this looks much better. We're giving the athlete the benefit of the doubt.
Giving the athlete the benefit of the doubt, not this hand on your fucking holster, which I can only imagine, like, would give me fucking anxiety, especially from someone like Rich Ryan that's been dinged before, or any of these guys. And you might say, well, it's the athlete's job to block it out, whatever. But it's like, dude, there's a huge difference. Looking for the penalty, benefit of the doubt. And it's a context shift that this gentleman in the white shirt, really sorry I keep forgetting his name, was wise enough to do. And maybe from the top down, we're getting there. Maybe that's some growth. Because that gal thought her job was to have her hand on the ready. That's what she thought her job was. So somebody above her taught her that or never stopped it before. Thoughts, Dave Claxton? Dave can't either not hear or... Can you hear us, Dave? Well, your thoughts, Cheryl, because I think we're going to lose Dave for this call. I think we have to...
Oh, that's too bad. That's really too bad. Yeah.
Go listen to his show. I'm sure he'll talk about it on OFX.
It's true. I do know that there, I think I mentioned to you that the head judge's call prior to Vegas was heavy on the emphasis of having athletes have a good experience, because I do think that there had been a drift to, we want the sport to, be ready for the Olympics. We want to make sure that people are keeping the standards. And then I think there is that tendency for the judges to take it too far one way. And so now they're starting to drift back the other way to try to find that balance, where obviously if somebody's doing something wrong, they get penalized, but nobody's looking for an athlete to do wrong.
Can we I feel like it's like they should just fucking let go of staggered feet and hands unless it's obvious. It's like, guys, there's a difference, right? Just like in CrossFit, they're just watching, right? And then rep. Where you say little higher, and then like the basic things of judging. You don't need to be ready to throw the fucking flag. It's so dumb.
I think that just the body language of the judges in some of the stations, especially in BBJs, where their nose is right up in these athletes' business, right? They're looking for millimeters when they could be standing back. I think all of us can tell whether or not, the hands are placed. It's not that hard. You don't need to be that close. And just the fact that they're that close to the athletes, I think affects performance. And I think it sends a message that they don't trust you and they think you're trying to get away with something. And I don't think these athletes are trying to get away with something. I think they're just trying to do their job. And so yeah, I mean, good on that head judge of telling someone to take their finger off the trigger, right? And just relax and allow the person to do what they need to be doing. So I don't know. And I know that, like you were saying that in the context with Alyssa about the staggered steps or about the spitting. I mean, you were just saying that in general, you feel like things are getting better. The
staggered steps is the same thing. It's the most like, how do you know what parallel is?
Yeah.
Okay. What degree is parallel?
It's like 0, right?
Right. So you're going to do perfect BBJs for 4 lengths. No human is going to. How can your feet be at 0?
Right.
Right. So it's stupid. So let that one go again, unless they're like, clip clopping and hopping like in all the videos we used to see in the early days, unless they're fucking doing that, let's let it go. Like that's what they need to figure out.
Okay, but I mean, it just is an interesting.
And then point them back. Hey,
yes,
that was just no, go back.
Right.
Okay, then they'll stop fucking doing it. If there's a big clip clop, if there's a big giant, right?
Yes. But in this situation, we had her called on a penalty that should have been called. And the implication when you posted that post from Cole Learn was because he commented on somebody's concern about the lack of consistency, right? Somebody had pointed out, here she gets called for this, but then you have elites who aren't called for things within majors and, regional races and so forth. And the implication that Cole gave, and you may have it there, you could read it, but the implication that Cole gave was, well, Elite 15 races are special and they're not called the same way. And so hence the disconnect, right? That you better hope you get into the Elite 15 so you don't have to be called on the carpet for things.
So there's a couple of things that I think we're all okay with, right? Where here's a different set of rules. For example, they are allowed to have their own water, right? We're not. And that's okay. It's okay to have two different rule books when it's about stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're allowed a coach. Actually, the coaches thing has been suspended for a while, but whatever. But they can have a water. And I think what it sounds like we've been told last week, hey, we're not going to ding you for this. So again, if that's just change the rule book, like littering is a fine only if it lands on course. If you throw it over the fence, it's like reword the rule, whatever, to show that it's different than the regular people, 10,000 athletes over a weekend. I totally understand it. But cooling is a safety issue. And you can't tell me that one should be both ways. That one to me is you can either do it or you can't. I don't, right?
More so than spitting.
More so than spitting because it's literal water that's being poured
on polished concrete.
Right.
Yeah.
So not that I would expect you not to spill a drop while you're chugging it, but that one to me is the one that, so there is a place for two rule books, but about functional stuff like that, I'm okay with. But one could have read it as you did, or you're kind of suggesting like, well, hey, we don't want two sets of rules for different things. And yeah, it's not great how it's been handled. And again, what I got was no comment, and I've got a lot to say about no comment now. So I think you're fine with me saying that you and I have talked a lot offline about this and about where is our responsibility on this show and how do we look at things?
Yes.
And I have a current North Star that I'd like to share with everybody. So there's this guy named Pablo Torre, and he has a show called Pablo Torre Finds Out. And he is doing the best in-depth journalism in sports right now. And all the other podcasters and channels know, once upon a time, we had real journalism in sports. You know what I mean? You would see these like well-done pieces. And now everybody is in bed with everybody, right? So the question he asked on a recent podcast, stay with me, guys. We'll bring this around to HYROX, I promise, is, again, slightly different context. How do you trust billionaires to police themselves? So if an NBA owner does some shady shit, is the head of the NBA owners, which is the commissioner, ever going to call on him? Because he's like, we're all making millions and billions here, right? So he's been asked these questions that they flat out lied about. And this one guy is doing the work of like what we used to call like what people used to do, which is real journalism, because the other billionaire owners are like, well, shit, I don't want my shit called on. I want to break the rules too, right? So the question becomes, how bad does a guy have to break before the other guys call them on it because they might want to break the same rules? Are you with me so far?
Yes. Keep going.
So I want to bring up my notes here because I made a bunch.
Okay. Because I'm thinking about the conversation we had after the podcast last week. That is the context I'm putting this in.
Yes, I know, but I'm really getting there.
Yes, I know you are. I know you are.
But what he's saying is the reason there aren't real journalists, the reason nobody asks a tough question at a press conference is because I want to be in the good graces of the NBA because I want to get invited to press conferences. I want to feel special. And maybe if I ask them a question they don't like, they might kick me out of the room. So that exists in NFL and NBA and in this very thing that you and I live in.
Yes.
Most folks are just happy to get access to Elite 15 or to the athletes or whatever. They don't want to upset anybody, right? Maybe they make money with sponsors, maybe they don't, but they don't want to upset anybody. And I believe our job is to speak what we see and ask questions that people aren't asking, because that's what good media does. Is that what I'm getting at? Is that what I told you?
That is what you told me. And here's what you did. You talked me off the ledge last week. I mean, let's face it. I am a big justice person. I feel like injustice has been served over the past several months for these elites. I know how hard they work and I know how much money they spend. And I know that this is their dream. And then you have these instances where people are getting away with stuff. And let's face it, it is just sports. Like, this isn't life or death, right? I mean, it's chalk, it's water, it's, it's little things. But that being said, people are being held to different standards depending on the circumstances. And that never sits well with me. And the thing that really doesn't sit well with me is that you have access to information. And I sometimes get access to information. Elites who will tell us things off the record. And so we know things aren't going great and morale is low. And my question to you was, when are we going to be able to help these people, right? Like, that was kind of and you sent me some of these folks, right? Like the way they handle things and the way they manage things. I think you are rightfully careful to protect your sources, and you are very, very careful about the kind of information that you will share. There are sometimes people who will send you information that they will allow you to share, and I do think that helps. But it definitely puts us on the outside of state-sponsored media, right?
Correct.
Like, they're not going to be thrilled about people asking questions about what they've done. And I'm just too young at this and too new at this to kind of calm down and trust the process, right? So I don't know. Speak to your process.
Yeah, I've been down this road before, and so I just have more patience that way. And am I afraid? Like, have I thought, like, shit, they might kick me out of HYROX, which I know sounds ridiculous, but like, it could happen, right? Some would say, well, they'd never do that because then the outrage would be bad. It's like, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the people at the top, like, wouldn't do that. But this is what someone told me from an anonymous Elite 15 athlete. And so, by the way, that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes people say, yes, you can use this, don't use my name. Sometimes people say, don't say I said this at all. And that's how you work with sources. That's just how it goes.
Right.
From an anonymous Elite 15 athlete, Matt functions as, this is Matt Locke, Matt functions as Elite 15 producer, rules writer for Elite 15, rules writer for HYROX, rules implementer for Elite 15, rules implementer for HYROX. These are often at cross purposes with each other. Also, I got drug tested and needed to send my appeal. I needed to send my
email
within an hour, and I agree that it is silly. If I had left my phone in my locker, instead of giving it to my significant other right before the race, and it was suggested we leave it in the locker room, I wouldn't have gotten to file an appeal. So don't bring your phones with you, right? So as you said last week, had you wanted to file an appeal, how could you? Because you don't have your phone, and you might be in drug testing for an hour waiting to pee. So the process seems a little sloppy and a little shady and a little weird. And the more I think about, hey, don't record this, the more upset it's gotten me.
This also implies that appeals were filed.
Well, that's the thing. This person didn't say whether they filed one or not. They were using an example of were I to, I don't know if this person did or not. They were saying, were I to file one, I wouldn't have even been able to, except for the fact in this case that I happen to give my significant other the phone. So I happen to have my phone. I don't know if this person did or not. The point is, the more I think about, again, I would not expect them to say, "Hey, everyone, take out your voice recorder right now." But I also wouldn't expect them to say, "Hey, don't record this." Because when you say don't record this, then I'm like, well, shit, what are you going to say?
Right. So you have kind of these mandatory unrecorded meetings where you don't know what's being said. And so therefore they can't sort of hold you to account in that way. And then if you do have a complaint after the race, you only have an hour to complain about it.
And listen, I've heard too many different stories. I can't say for a fact this did or didn't happen, but it's kind of like, if we were in a court without a shadow of a doubt, or what do we say? What do we say in court?
Yeah.
That's not
without, see, you give us these words and then I can't think of anything else because
beyond a reasonable doubt.
There you go.
I can't say beyond a reasonable doubt that an appeal was filed for the chalk or for the water, right? But I can't come on here and say it definitely wasn't, because HYROX won't tell us either way. Or if they did for the chalk, I'm pretty sure other people said, no, they did. So that's what I'm saying. This is all getting pretty messy. And it's pretty frustrating as someone that cares about the sport, follows the sport. And we're not going to comment on any of these things is not a great way to handle it. And it's funny because in this recent episode of Pablo Torre, Adam Silver said, like, we don't really want to be a no comment league. We always want to give you an answer. But then there's like example after example of where like they don't, and they're like, well, we'll talk to you, but over here, and maybe tell you something off the record because we don't want everybody to know what we're up to.
Right. So let's say, worst case scenario, you get banned from HYROX for asking hard questions, right?
I know it sounds ridiculous, but trust me, I've thought of it.
Right. But does that actually change given that you're not getting any information from them anyway? Well, and the information that you get is from the athletes. The athletes trust you.
I would like to go race. I have a good time at the races. I like my job. I like interviewing people at the races. Like I don't think this is going to happen. I think I would have to do something pretty horrible to them. And I don't know what that would be, but I don't think that's going to happen. But again, it has crossed my mind.
Yeah. And I think, look, let's face it, we're fans of this sport. And I do think that I do think we'd love it. And you can tell that we love it. I think we're just reflecting the frustrations of sort of a narrow segment of it.
Yeah. And they don't even have time. Like once upon a time, I would see comments about stuff I posted that's like, well, that's not true, or that, and I don't even get those anymore because I just think there are too many pages out there. There are too many channels. Like nobody keeps up. Like they're just going to keep trucking along. Would it help them to have a great relationship with me? Sure, that would help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like then I could like get ahead of some of these stories, and I think that this World Champs is going to be very interesting because they will all be there, right? Heads of HYROX. They're going to have press conferences. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. But they've got EMEAs to get through and Warsaw, and hope that they don't have another shit show.
Right. And APAC. APAC's got their regionals coming up too.
APAC too.
So they've got three. They've got three to get through, and hopefully,
and
hopefully the meeting changes.
And this, by the way, is just what I hear. Like you're saying, like there are people who like think stuff and they don't ever tell me, or they tell me months or weeks later. They were like, yeah, I didn't want to get involved, but I heard X. And it's like, so this is just what's bubbling to the surface now.
Well, and what I'm hearing from people is that the second the elites have another option, they're going to take it.
Well, is it? But see that's where we're at. It's like it's slightly better than we were with Spartan. With Spartan, they had no choice and they just took shit for years. And here, they've got a little more agency because some of them have their own sponsors and they do have managers. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like that could be the thing. It's like, well, shit, do I want to lose? Do I want to piss off HYROX and lose like a shoe sponsor and real money?
Yeah.
And have to go back to fucking 9 to 5?
Yeah.
So what?
And look, I think we focus on this stuff and there is frustration and the fans are frustrated. And yet in the grand scheme of things, it's going well. Like I think for the most part, the great athletes are able to shine and good things are happening. Maybe we're just being a little hyperbolic. I'm just trying to tell myself.
I think this is the most emotional I've been about it because I was listening to this guy and he's kind of my North Star lately. I think he does a really good job.
Mhm.
And it's really easy to be loud and hateful, and I would call it like talk radio, right? Like we talk about all these CrossFit channels. That's all they do is throw shit. But it's not real journalism. It's just let's just throw shit. Like they don't distinguish between fact, rumor. They post people's messages, like all that shit that I hate and that I think is like it's not journalism. Like
Right.
that's easy to do. That's easier than doing nothing. Even it's just like, and then it's all noise. And there's like they could get it wrong and not care. Like it matters to me. Like it actually matters to me, which is why I don't put people's fucking DMs on blast, and I make sure that I have the right sources and I do this properly.
Yeah.
Because
so
it's
we
the
keep
job.
the lid on things. Yeah. It
Well,
doesn't
it's just,
ever overflow.
I just believe there's a way to do this. So, yeah, I mean, I think this thing goes on. Like you said, I think patience is the right word.
Yeah. And you have to credit them for wanting to make sure that their message is clear and yet it's funny they don't have a clear rule book. Like they really could work on some things to clean it up, and yet you can see why they just want the one channel. They just want to be able to make their announcements. They don't want people to necessarily ask them about it and that sort of thing. And I understand that as a business, that's what they're going to want to do. It just is. It is frustrating to have what happened to Alyssa this weekend, which was completely legal and perfectly normal and exactly what should have happened. When something literally the week before could have gone that way and did not, right? So that's the problem.
So she was asking about getting a ticket. It's too late to transfer now, right? It doesn't have to be up to the week before. I forgot what the rules are.
Look, I thought if you had an athlete license, you had access to races. I thought that was something that you had.
So what she's told me and what other athletes have told me is when you email elites@hyrox.com, they say the only ticket we guarantee is if you do it within 30 days of the race.
Okay.
Then we'll definitely get you one, even if it's sold out.
Within 30 days of the race?
Before 30 days of the race.
Oh, before 30 days. Okay. So the fact that she just wants to jump in.
Here's a bigger question. Here's a more important question for you.
Okay.
I'm HYROX. I have an athlete that's about to be in Elite 15. By the way, sorry guys, has a few sponsors already, kind of. By the way, not horrible to look at. Should I make it easy for this person to get in my sport? Do I have to kick somebody out of the pro field to let her in? No. Okay, you can race. We say 30 days because we don't want to be bombarded with every fucking race, but let's make some exceptions. Let's have this be a soft rule. Do you know what I'm saying?
All the other rules are soft.
Well, forget that. Forget even that. Just like, again, like, here's what we guarantee. And then you kind of know that if they have a good, it's just like we said with the missing the meeting thing. Like we go, hey, listen, we need you to make it, but you kind of know that if they can't, you'll do some things, right? Nope, it's not 30 days. Sorry. Is there some limited amount of HYROX Pro races? No, there's not. They can put up the final fucking wave.
Somebody in that first wave start tunnel is not showing up this weekend.
Well,
right?
A bunch of them are, and a bunch of them are really fucking slow.
Yeah.
So, like, whether I knew her or not, I've been talking to her, and I think she's great. But, like, even if I didn't, it's like, who are you hurting? Like,
yeah.
And if they were to say, well, then we'd have to let everybody, it's like, no, you wouldn't. There aren't that many people with pro cards that are flying to fucking Toulouse this week that are dropping their lives to go to Toulouse. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty fired up this week.
Clearly, you care about this person. I was fired up last week.
It's starting, like I said, hearing someone who does this professionally and calling out these like much bigger shots and much bigger deals. And, there's a lot, he's upsetting a lot of people because he's not afraid to say, look what I found in court documents. And you're going to pretend like we never knew that. we never knew that happened. It's like, you're lying to my face. So we know what's going on, and it's fucking silly. You're trying to grow a sport. Let someone in the fucking pro heat.
Yeah. Agreed. I feel like this was the thing that I went to bed last night worried about. I was not thrilled with Cole's settle down comment to the person that has a legitimate concern about this, right? Like, people have legitimate concerns about the sort of the rules not being equally applied and so forth. And I think maybe
settle down is definitely, like, I don't want to come off as defensive. The first words I would not write are settle down.
Nobody wants to hear settle down. Nobody wants to hear settle down.
How about you'd be prettier if you smiled more. How about that one?
Yeah. Or I don't appreciate your tone.
I don't appreciate your tone, young lady.
Yeah. Those all are perfectly legal within that realm. So so that's kind of what was keeping me up last night, about just how it got a little ugly. Like, I just felt like people are upset on one end, people are upset on the other end. That was really tough for me. Then I wake up this morning to a different outrage.
Oh boy, we haven't even talked about this yet. I love it. Let's go.
Right. So
new rules, mid-season rule changes.
So once again,
they stick it to us? Is this how they stick it to the 60 plus after all, Cheryl?
So I don't think they're sticking it to the 60 plus this time. I think they're sticking it to the 30-year-olds. I think this is the chance for other age groups to feel the pain. And I'm trying to.
I didn't even understand it when I first read it. You saw what I said by a source that shall remain nameless sent us this, and I was like, they already do this. It's roll downs, and then I missed the one line that's like, not if you go past second. I'm like, what?
Yeah, there literally isn't a roll down anymore, right? Because a roll down implies that somebody has deferred their world championship qualification and that they don't want it. And so then who wants it next, right? And that's what, like, DECA's great at this. Like, how far did they roll down in their world championships last year? Like to 50th, because people just didn't want to travel to Florida or whatever.
Fit, and I think I got an invite.
Right. I mean, a lot of people got invites, right? So, and I guess technically the way it's been happening in HYROX now is that, early in the season, somebody gets first place, they get a world championship nod, and they take the email, right? And then a few races go in, maybe that person wins again, but they're not going to get a world championship invite. It's the next person. It's somebody who's in second, right? Which, totally makes sense. And then what would happen is if that second place person didn't want to go, or even the first place, if you didn't want to go, then it would just roll down to the person who did want to go. And so it could be the fourth or fifth person, especially by spring. Like, by spring, you've got people who already have their world spots. And then you've got people who are rolling in at maybe third place, fourth place on the age group podiums, and they're getting world's invites. And because of the lack of transparency in HYROX, right? They just kind of come out with this announcement that we're changing things now, right? Like right now. And maybe even retroactively, some people are implying. And they're saying there will no longer be roll downs, right? That if you make first place and you've already qualified, we will invite the next person and that's it. If they don't want it, nobody else gets invited, right? Do I have that correct?
Well, here's the part I'm still unclear on, that the person that we're writing messages, if Rich Ryan wins, he's never going to accept it because he's an Elite 15 guy, right?
Right.
So every time they invite him, is whoever raced in that age group that day fucked?
See, that's the big, and that's the problem with these sort of general announcements that are relatively short.
I'm talking about any pro race that Rich Ryan does. No disrespect to those that do, but Rich is not going to take an age group. Some people do. Some people are like, hey, if I can't get in, I'm going to go do age group. Fine. Rich isn't one of those guys, and there's a ton like that, right? Alex Ronkovic isn't going to fucking take that, right? Probably. So the point is, are you just fucked if you're in Rich's age group because you're never going to get an invite because he's always going to win it? I'm just confused by that part.
Right. Here's HYROX sending these elites out now, racing 5 races so that they can get their points. So there are going to be more elites. They're going to be out there racing all these different races to get their points. And if they are standing by this current system, if they don't clarify it, then that means that any elite that races in their age group will get the world's invite. They will not take it because they're an elite. And so therefore it will not roll down
Right.
to the so that's why the 60-year-olds aren't as affected as the 25 to 40-year-olds, right?
By
Or
the,
the
by
20
the
to
way,
40-year-olds.
how were we informed about this?
It was just like a Rock's Life post, right? Like it was just
Well, we saw an email, right?
I didn't get one.
Well, if you look in the chat that we're talking about, it was an email.
Yes, somebody got an email, but not all of us.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
So what the fuck?
Yes.
I've done multiple races this year. I didn't get that email. Like, how did they send it out to some people? Did they send it out to people who only had previously gotten invites? Like, guys, if you're going to implement rules, at least fucking tell everybody at the same time. Did HYROX even do it?
Are these people, are these people who are registered for future races? And so maybe they're giving them a heads up from that. But I saw a number of comments, one of which was somebody who said that they lost their world's qualification because they were in mixed doubles in the same age group as Rich Ryan and Lauren Weeks in Las Vegas. And so Rich and Lauren, of course, didn't take that world's invite. And so they're not getting one. They've been informed by HYROX that they're not getting a world's invite. And so this may actually have gone before the announcement that they're already implementing this policy. And the only thing that I'm thinking is because of the lack of transparency on HYROX's part, whether it's deliberate or unintentional, is I'm just picturing somebody in the office being like, wait a minute, we're not going to be able to handle the number of people that are registering for Stockholm. Like, I don't know if they just didn't do the math up front in the season that they released all these cities and there's all these people competing and there's all these people taking world qualification.
And they already do the math because they say when the race happens, like this thing gets one, this one gets two, right?
Right. But so did they do the overall math?
By the way, it's not on HYROX World or HYROX America. So
it's nowhere. That's just this
some
random.
athletes got some emails.
Yeah. And then Rock's Life put out a post because they're, they get the information, right? And so they've got the post and there's where the outrage was. Like, people are not happy, right? Because especially because we're used to the system that we've had and because spring races are coming up, a lot of people are signing up for these spring races because they want to position themselves to get rolled down so that they can go to Stockholm. I mean, that has been a tactic that athletes in age groups have used over the past 4 years to be able to get into worlds. You may not be a first place podium contender, but you tend to be second, third, that kind of thing.
I mean,
and so you just keep racing.
If they just said we're not going to go lower than fifth, I think I'd be fine with it. Or even we're not going to go lower than third, but at least not this, it's not going to roll down, period, right? Because then the Rich Ryan rule doesn't matter. Like, it goes down to third and you're bummed if you're in his age group, but at least you got to do good. You got to be good enough to be third in your age group that day.
They need to figure out the elite problem.
That would be my solution. It's like, hey, we don't want people showing up in seventh. They're not that good anyway. And we need spots. So we don't drop lower than third. I think that's a fair result. Yes. Would you be okay with that?
Yes, but don't implement it until next season.
Well, of course.
I mean, that was one of the problems is these
maybe
people
they'll be like,
money.
Maybe this will be like the 60+ thing. We heard your outrage. We thought it was helping you have a better ribs for your pleasure, but it's not. So we're taking it back.
Yeah. Well, because they do say in the email something about how this is going to make the competition better. I actually don't think it's going to change the competition at all. There's always the top people that are kind of vying for the spot and then everybody else who's just happy to be there. And that's always been that way. And, if you get your roll down or if you get your world spot from Bangkok, then yeah, I mean, you're just happy to be there, right? Like maybe you're not as competitive as somebody in London. And so
I guess I should read it because now that I realize not everybody got it, I guess I should just read the stupid thing.
Read it. Yeah, I think we're assuming that everybody knows what we're talking about.
I
got a lot of messages saying, are you guys going to talk about this? So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Have you noticed my voice is just going to shit, by the way?
I know I'm trying to talk more so you don't have to, but I don't think it's helping.
Well,
and I'm really mad Dave's not here to gripe about this stuff.
Well, some say I do have a voice fit for radio, but it's getting, I have to look up your name, I think, to find it because I'm in so many fucking chats with you.
Yes. Sorry. It's the Monday live show chat.
Okay, Monday live show chat. Okay, here we go. Hang on. Oh my God. I can't read these fucking letters. I have to put this into chat because it's too fucking small for me to read.
All right, do you want me to get it? I'm wearing glasses.
I got it.
All right.
I do this now. That's how old I am. I just put it in a chat and I go, you read it. And then chat gives me nice letters I can read.
Okay.
HYROX is moving to an initial offers only qualification policy. The highest ranking athlete or team who is not already qualified gets the invitation. Not already qualified. So technically that means that it could go, like, if the top 4 are already qualified, it will go to 5th, but if 5th doesn't take it, then it stops. Right?
Yeah, it stops with the person who just doesn't accept it, right? Okay, so let me read this. In practice, this means if the first place athlete is not yet qualified, they will receive the offer. If the first place athlete is already qualified, the next eligible ranked athlete will receive it. If that initial offer is declined, the slot will not be reallocated further. Rather than maximizing the total number of participants, our focus remains on ensuring that those who qualify compete in an environment truly worthy of a world title. So I think they're trying to imply that this is going to help the competitiveness, and I just am not sure that's true. But it says it allows us to carefully manage venue capacities while preserving the competitive integrity of world championships.
Maybe June 18th, 2025 was the time to figure that out. The day after Chicago last year. Like, that was the time to say this.
Somebody needed to look ahead, realize that they have doubled the amounts of doubles participants, right? Because they cut the doubles, like it used to be 50 to 59, now it's 55, 50 to 54, 55, like it's 5-year increments, right?
Maybe they forgot.
Well, somebody, I mean, it's just, I just wonder if there's just a bureaucracy.
Let's back up. I do think that is a slight distinction. It's going to go to the first person that isn't already going. So that technically could go down pretty far, but then it will stop after that.
Yeah, I guess.
They mean this. If what they mean is true, if the top 7 are already qualified, it will get offered to 8, but then if 8 declines, 8, that's it. It's not going to keep going past that. So I guess that's not as bad as I thought, maybe.
I think what it means is that for the most part, it's not going to change much, because I think for the most part, people do accept the qualifications. Like, I think there's still going to be about the same number of people going. Unless you're in an age group where elites are, then you don't know what's happening to you. I mean, I really think that's where it's going to be dicey, is they really haven't, are they saying if you have a pro card, then you won't get the,
that's
then
the
you
other
won't get
part.
the invite?
That's the part that we talked, that was the part I said first, was like, well, is that part not even in it at all? Hang on, I got to turn the heat on. Hang on.
Yeah, but I just think about, I'm just going to talk. Well, you can't hear me anyway, but I'm just going to say, I just think too many people have an athlete license who are not going to make it into the Elite 15. And so if you have an athlete license and you're not making it into the Elite 15, are you automatically like you don't even get to race age group? Like Brooklyn Nichols doesn't get to race age group, right? Because she's got an athlete card. Like, is it going to be something like that? Like, they've got to figure out a way to separate the elites, but also allow most elites to still participate in the way that they would want to. It's far too ambiguous for them to be making this announcement mid-season.
It's worse than mid-season. It's 75% through. It might be worse.
Yes, when people are positioning themselves to get roll downs.
Right.
And it's not clear enough for people to even know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, this is one where they should have been like, listen, we're gonna have to rent the fucking venue another day or another 2 days. We fucked it, and let's eat it because we just did the math wrong. And then next year we'll fucking cut this thing way down. Like, that
just fix it, right? Are we getting to a point where we need a singles world championships and a doubles world championships? Are there just too many people? Because here's what they're doing is they are offending their biggest customers.
Right.
The ones who are racing.
The podium chasers, yes.
Yes. The ones who are going to all the races. They're showing up in Cancun. They're showing up in Vegas. They're showing up in London. Like they're doing all the work, right?
What do you mean by two different races, though?
I mean, Olympics and Paralympics, right? Like you have one week that's, for singles, and then the following week is for doubles or something, or even opposite ends of the year where it's summertime and wintertime or something where you separate out so that there's more room for these folks who want to qualify.
We forgot to mention, by the way, which was pointed out a couple weeks ago, that you can't race Elite 15 women can't race pro doubles the next night because they're the same night.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to read this to you?
I didn't know about that.
Oh, yes. HYROX.com. Let me share the screen. The competition for everybody. Okay, let me share this bad boy. Find my race. Where are we going? Sweden?
Yes, in June. So it's coming.
Are you ready?
Okay, race information.
Friday, HYROX Pro Men, HYROX Pro Women, Elite 15 doubles women, Elite 15 doubles men. Do you understand what I'm seeing here?
Yeah. So the Elite 15 doubles is going to be that night. And you're saying that if somebody is racing an age group race.
So like a Kat Fossbender.
Yes.
Who didn't make it to the Elite 15.
Singles.
Correct. So why would you do singles and doubles in the same night? Why wouldn't you do what they've done before, which is all the singles and then all the doubles?
Yeah, I'm not so sure that the people that sort of worked on this schedule actually race.
But I'm just saying that's just logical. Here's all the singles, here's all the doubles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then relays is on Sunday or whatever, right? Relays and adaptives and whatever. Isn't that what they've always done?
It's been different every year. And so it's hard to know. And I think the doubles has just exploded. And I don't think it was ever as big as it has been. I think every year it gets bigger. And that's why you have to wonder if they just need to start separating it so that it makes more sense. Because I think it's already pretty taxing to try to do a singles and a doubles in a weekend, and then just logistically, obviously it's really hard. And they tried to combine the 60 plus to sort of fix that and so forth. And it just seems like they're having a lot of logistical problems in Stockholm that they're going to need to fix going forward. And one option is to just divide them, right? To just give everybody a little more breathing room so that, look, the people, why wouldn't they want more people buying these Worlds tickets? They're stinking expensive. Like they're really expensive, and people are willing to spend the money, and they want to go, and they want to have the shirts, and they want to have the Parade of Nations and all that sort of stuff. Double the fun, right? Like make it so that people can pay for that and do it.
I think it's totally doable. Now they might argue for sponsor commitments, all the Elite 15 has to be that first week. Like I could see that. Like we're going to do the Elite 15 singles and then the Elite 15 doubles either the next night or 2 nights later to give them a rest or whatever. And then the next week, and then the rest, then that singles all the other rest of the time. And then the next week is all the doubles. Like I could see them, like that makes sense to me. I'm sure it's a massive expense, but I think they can afford it. And I think it's one of those, like, if Worlds loses money, it's okay because we're printing money the rest of the fucking year.
Yeah. I mean, geez, London was a 9-day event. They could just change to like a massive over, a 10-day event for Worlds. I mean, they really could. The options are infinite for them if they just will look for that. The fact that they're taking an option that restricts the number of people going to Worlds is an interesting business decision.
I just got breaking news. Major pizza chain franchisee files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Which one? Is it Pizza Hut?
First of all, they get me every time with that fucking clickbait. I'm like, which one was it? And sometimes it's one that's like 3 restaurants.
If it's Pizza Hut, I'm going to be sad.
Major pizza chain Papa John's, which is not filed for bankruptcy, announced it's in its fourth quarter earnings call that it will close 300 underperforming restaurants, including 200 by the end of 2026.
How many times have you eaten a Papa John's pizza?
Well, not a lot.
Yeah.
If you have young kids and you do birthday parties, that's kind of the only reason. But we have a Little Caesars near us, and they have those $5, and we would just pick up 10 of those. Domino's chain franchisee has filed for bankruptcy. Oh, this franchisee, North County Pizza, has filed. Domino's holds the title of largest pizza chains in the U.S. with about 7,000 units through the third quarter, according to the Domino's 101 Fun Facts on the company's websites. Listen, one day you're a king of the world, the next day you're working in a fucking box factory. What can I tell you? You know what I mean? Like, who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought? My wife got me this Blockbuster t-shirt, and every time I wear it, people always comment on it. They're like, oh my God, I love Blockbuster. Went to the car wash yesterday. This woman was like, I have such great memories. We'd go, we'd walk around, we'd pay for the overpriced candy. Who would have ever thought? The little company that mailed you the discs would take over the fucking world.
We have to enjoy the ride while we can take it, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So, yeah.
Cheryl, I've seen the rise and fall of one industry already, right? I don't know what to tell people, but OCR numbers are a little lower than they were at its peak. So I'm telling you, I try to take it in all the time. In Phoenix, I was really trying to take it in, and I mean Phoenix. When I was in that stadium, I was like, one day this thing ain't going to be filled.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 5 years. Maybe it's 10 years. Maybe it's 20. I don't know. Dave thinks it's next week.
Remember when we did that? Yeah.
Dave thinks it's next week. Sorry, Dave. I think that's why he was so quiet when I was talking about the announcement. I'm telling you, man, we are not at the top of this thing.
And rightfully so. It is such a great experience. It is such a great thing. It's been unfortunate that the past 2 weeks we've had to talk about things that are not perfect about it. And yet I think we would all agree it's still just a great product, a really great product. I'm very surprised that they are upsetting so many people in the age group categories. I'm very surprised that they took that turn. So we'll see.
I think, do you think they look at it like, again, remember they're advertising to all those people in the comments that I'm talking about that are like, let's try this thing. So are they like, yeah, and like every company, right? Like Comcast has the worst customer service rating. It also has the best because it's the biggest one, right? So it's like, that's how it goes. Verizon, most positive reviews, most negative reviews, right? So do they just think, listen, the people that do a lot of these are going to be mad, but we don't care because we're selling
bajillion tickets.
Yeah.
And I don't know
and they'll
about
get
you.
over it, and they'll get over it. We'll move on.
Well, and I don't know about you, but I almost have sort of two hats I wear, both with HYROX and with DECA, as far as it depends on who I'm talking to about how I talk about it.
Well, yeah, you don't bring all the internal drama to the new people. Of course not.
No, the people who are just all excited and the people who are just trying it for the ones who shared all your posts, like they are so excited. I get a text from somebody yesterday who's like, I want to try this HYROX thing. Do you think they'll come to Las Vegas? So, I'm like, yeah, I do. Right. Like they don't even know. They don't even know all of this stuff. And maybe we are just in an echo chamber of a small percentage. It just happens to be the percentage that is probably the biggest cheerleaders and the ones that are driving a lot of this.
Yeah, and remember, we're not like those people who, like, for the last 2 years in the UK that are like, I liked it better when it had 8 people, and we could do, it's like, we're not that. We're not
it's
that.
A great product.
We understand, like, they're all about money now. Like, I don't have any of that. I just think they do some own goals, they do some unforced errors, and there's clearly people in the office that haven't been to a race.
Yes. So this is another unforced error that they are going to need to clarify within the next several weeks, because people are going to want to know if they were in Cancun and Camila Massa beat them, that there's no chance, right? Like, you just want to know whether or not this is going to work for you. It's going to change my behavior. I worry about, like, now when I think about going to like Salt Lake, like, yeah, what if I get third? Like it's going to change. It's just going to change things. And it changes for you and me, because we were like, oh, well, we can always position ourselves for the spring to be able to get a roll down if things don't go well with us earlier in the year. And now that's not the case.
We're getting a spot, damn it. We're getting a
Well,
spot.
we're going to have to run fast now.
We're going to pick the right venue. We're going to get a spot. I'm not even close to my top end speed.
Hopefully Amy Bevilacqua doesn't find some dude that's like 60.
Yeah, Amy, stay out of our age group.
Exactly. Stay out of our age group.
Listen, we had a note to do a preview maybe of the regional race, but I'm out of steam. So best of luck everybody this weekend.
I think that we are ill prepared, and I think that there are other podcasts that are much better prepared for that sort of thing.
You always say this, and I have to smack you in the nose, Cheryl.
No, it's true. Listen, what are we here for? We are here as fans of the sport and as general athlete experience.
Your opinion about who's going to do well is just as valid as Jack Bauer's or Matt Mason's. You have every right to say, here's who I think is going to win. Here's why. It could be because you like the color of their shorts. It could be because you know their race splits, but you are allowed to give your opinion. Damn it.
Okay, here's my opinion. I really want Luke Greer to win. I love him. And I want Emily Dahmen to win because I think she's magnificent. So there's my opinion.
See, there you go. That's all.
Who do you want to win?
Well, I mean, who do I want to win? Let's go. Let's have a quick look. We'll have a quick look, guys.
Okay.
I think Hybrid Fitness Media has a new article about this. Hang on a second. Let's do a screen share. Can you read this?
There it is.
All right. So looking at this, let's see who's qualified first. Let's scroll down here. Hitty, Tim, Charlie, and Sean are all qualified.
Okay.
That's 4 guys.
Right.
So those are also the fastest 4. So the next down is Thomas Dverdick, Emilio, Alan. Is it Ploge? Is it Plodge?
I thought it was Ploy.
And then your buddy Luke in 8th, Graham in 9th, Charlie in 10th. Oh, this is the wrong thing because Josh Van Seelen isn't racing. So I got to go down here. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know enough about all these guys either, but I can still say who would I like to see get it? See who's already racing. Charlie's already in. How about Graham? Let's get Graham in there.
That would be really fun.
Right?
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. Here's what I was surprised with is I really thought that I would know, I know enough about the elites. I know most of these names. I was actually surprised that in this region that there were names that I had not heard of.
You'd think you wouldn't have, right? Because there's so fucking many. But yeah, there's a couple at the bottom. And yeah, let's go with Emily for the women. Sure, why not?
Yeah, no, I think that would be great. She's right up there as far as time goes. I think that would be really cool for her.
But yeah, we'll give love. I'm sure Race Brain will do a much deeper dive. Go over there, check those guys out.
Yeah.
But your opinion counts too, Cheryl. Damn it, that's all.
Well, I appreciate that. I will say I am looking forward to. I don't know what time that means for us to be able to watch it over there, but I thought the coverage in Washington was great. Like I feel like they're doing a really good job of covering these races, and so I'm really looking forward to watching that this weekend. It's going to be good.
All right, I'm going to take some allergy medicine.
Okay, let me just say, I'm in Anaheim DECA this weekend.
Oh, Jesus. And now you're going to say that an hour and 37 minutes in? Oh, my God.
No, I'm not going to say anything. So we will have stuff to talk about next week about Anaheim DECA. Running teams with my husband. So we have been going back and forth like an old married couple arguing about how we're going to split the stations. It's great. So
I don't think I've seen Jake argue.
He doesn't argue. I argue.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it does. And then I think Dave is at Athex. So there's a lot to talk about next week. So HYROX, please just have everything go great, right? Like we're rooting for you so that we don't have to talk about anything and we can talk about these other things.
All right. Dave, we miss you, buddy.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.